Hey, this is Zach with PRP Seats, here today to show you our brand new seat covers for the Polaris RZR. PRP seat covers bring a brand new look and feel to the interior of your RZR. With over 60 different colors and materials to choose from, you can customize it to look and feel however you want inside your RZR. You can also protect your stock seats and interior from the wear and tear that comes with driving off-road. We offer front seat and rear seat covers, as well as a specific seat cover design for those of you that have the OEM cooled seats in the front. So head to prpseats.com and design the perfect seat covers for your vehicle today. Today, we're going to do install on a 2020 to 2024 RZR Pro XP. If you have a 2025 and newer RZR, look down in the description below and click on the link for the specific video for your vehicle. First step is going to be taking your seat covers out of the box and out of the bag and laying them out. One, make sure you have all the pieces you need to install. The second thing is go and take them out. Put them in the sun, let them heat up and warm up. Depending on how long these covers have been sitting in a box or sitting on the shelf, they may have some small little wrinkles and creases and things like that. Getting them out, letting them sit out and kind of stretch out will make it a lot easier to install, help get rid of a lot of those wrinkles. And if it's a little bit warmer, it's easier for that material to stretch, for you to stretch it over to get over and on the seat. Starting on the front, we are going to remove the stock seats, take them out to make it easier to install them on a table. First step is going to be removing the harnesses. If you have OEM harnesses or aftermarket harnesses, you need to be able to get them out of the headrest slot here. So on these ones, our PRP ones, is pretty easy. I'm just going to unlatch them for the back. For the OEM ones, most of the time you need to either unbolt it or pull this webbing through the buckle to be able to pull it out all the way and get this seat out. Then, once the harnesses are clear, you're going to pull the release lever and pull the seat out. Last thing is on the driver's side, you are most likely going to have this connector wire that goes into the center console. If you need to remove the harness entirely to get it out of there, you might need to remove that and unclick it as well to get the seat all the way out. And then we're going to start installing the covers. I like to start with the headrest first. You find this kind of rubberized piece on here. How you're going to get this off is use a large flathead screwdriver. Push it in underneath the side or around one of these edges and just kind of push and pop it till it comes off. Then we're going to take our cover, starting on the bottom and going towards the top, and then start to get the top part on. To put the headrest back on, you're going to see these two different clips right here that match up right here. So how we're going to do this, we're going to kind of push in the top clip on there first, get it clipped in, and then literally you're just going to punch super hard and it's going to pop that second clip on. Next up, we're going to start with these two wing pieces. So grab the cover you're going to put on there. They're going to have this plastic kind of J-clip that's always going to go on the outside arm right here. So we're going to start by connecting these inside pieces, taking that cover and wrapping it around the cushion, getting it around all the corners. Just kind of use your fingers, pull the cushion up, and then get the cover to tuck behind it. Once I got the top corner on, I'm just going to kind of pull it down a little bit and get that cover to kind of sit in place. And then I'm going to go back to this bottom corner and keep tucking it underneath the material, trying to kind of get it around. At this very bottom corner, it is going to be tight. You're going to need to kind of pull the foam up while you're pulling the cover in it to get into place. But we want it to be tight because we want this cover to sit on here and not come off or move while you're sitting on top of it. Now, I'm just gonna go back in this center section right here, and it's kind of not tucking underneath all the way. So I'm just gonna grab my fingers, take kind of that edge with the elastic in it and just trying to push it back up and underneath the cushion to get it in there tight. Once you have the cover pretty well tucked in around the sides and everything up here, you're gonna kind of find these two bands that were in the top and bottom of the seat, pull them both out at the same time. That's gonna help to tuck in and get everything tight around the front and the edges of the seat. Take this band, make sure it kind of goes underneath this J-clip section and tie it off and tie it together. Then just take that excess, kind of tuck it up and underneath the cover so it's out of the way and hidden. Next, we're gonna attach this J-clip to the plastic ridge on the seat right here. This is gonna get real tight. It's not the easiest to do, but grab just below the plastic right here and try to kind of open this up. And then I'm just gonna work my way down, kind of tucking this over and bringing it back as I'm getting each piece on. If you have any small wrinkles, just go around, continue to tuck in the material around the edge so it's sitting nice and flush. If there are still a couple left over, give it about 30 days. Sit on there, get stretched out, move around on it as you're sitting and let it heat up. And over time, most of these creases will start to work themselves out by themselves. Now we're gonna do the exact same steps on the other side wing. Next up, we're gonna put on the middle section. We're gonna start at the bottom down here, getting it all wrapped around, and then kind of go around the corners, around the sides, up to the top, because it's a little bit easier to kind of move this and get this on for the last piece. Then just continue up the sides, keep tucking it in around there. Make sure you're not pulling the cover either too far back or too far forward. So kind of line up kind of the corner piece here on the cover with the corner in the cushion. Once you have it most of the way on, you're gonna take this center section right here where the drain is, kind of find that drain section in the foam in the stock seat and push it through. Make sure everything is sitting all the way wrapped around nice and flush so it's not bunching up and causing issues like this. And make sure it's fairly centered. And then lastly, we're gonna put on this front piece. One trick on this, take your two elastic pieces. I like to just tie them off, like just right barely at the ends. We're gonna start on one side, work our way over to the other, and then get that other side tucked in. Once you have it most of the way on, right here in front, you're gonna see this hook and loop strip, and this piece is attached and has elastic on it. You're just gonna kind of pull the foam away right in here and attach that hook strip with the adhesive right in there. That'll help keep the cover in place and stop it from riding up as you sit on it. Once you have everything on, nice and set, nice and smooth, go back, and if you need to re-tighten this elastic drawstring, you can, to make sure and ensure that the cover stays on really tight and doesn't slide around or get any bagginess after you sit on it again and again and again. Then once you're done, just tuck these drawstring ends underneath the cover and the seat and hide them down below. Then, once you're happy with it, it's time to throw it back in the car. Slide it in, making sure you get the front to lock in first and line up with the bracket. Then push it down in the back till it clicks in. Then you need to put back your harnesses, reattach the safety wire down below if you removed that in the first place, and get your harnesses back in, fed through the slot, and back together. Next up, we're going to do installation on the rear seat covers. For these, it's pretty simple. You're going to undo your harnesses if you need to. Grab that release handle and release the top of the seat and pull it out. On the bottom, there are two different designs depending on if you have the fold flat version, which tumbles and folds like this, or if this base is fixed down here. You're just gonna undo the bolts here in the front, and then two bolts back here in the rear that hold that fixed bracket to the car. If you have the fold flap design like this, you're just gonna flip it over and remove these 6 bolts with a T40 socket. Then with your rear seat covers, just like we did on the front, pull them out of the bag, let them sit out, put them in the sun if you can, let them warm up and make it easier for you to install. So we're gonna start once again with the headrest cover. So use that screwdriver and kind of pop that cover off and out. Then take your headrest cover. I usually like to start on the bottom, kind of get it tucked over and around the corners. Then start working on the top. Go on the front, see, make sure the logo's nice and level and everything's not pulled over to one side or the other. And just kind of move, push, and pull the material around as needed so everything's sitting nice. Once everything's sitting nice, you're gonna go and attach it by clicking in that top piece, getting it snug in there, and then literally you're just gonna punch super hard and it's gonna pop that second clip on. Next up, we're gonna do the wings. Pretty much the exact same setup as the front. You're gonna start on the inside, getting these curves wrapped around on the back, then connect the 2 drawstrings, get them tight, and then finally connect the J-clip around the back edge of the seat. You can use a screwdriver to kind of pry this open and get it open a little bit more than it is when it's brand new. Then grab it while it's opened up, pull it over the edge and around the back. Then grab the center section, make sure the drawstring is up here at the top. Then start on one side, tuck it under and around. Once you have everything on pretty nicely, go back, kind of fold this up and retie that drawstring so you get it nice and tight now. And then tuck it back and over the top of the cushion. Once you have that drawstring all tightened up, go around, continue to tuck everything in, make sure that the lines are lined up, the stitch lines are lined up as they should be. Do everything you need to do to get it as perfect as possible. Once you're finished with the top, the last step is just the bottom cushion. Once again, just tie off that end piece just so it doesn't accidentally get pulled through all the way. Then start installing it on the cushion. Once you have the cover majority of the way on, just like before, you're gonna attach that elastic piece of Velcro right underneath the cushion. And then pull this down tight. It'll get that whole center of the seat nice and tight and attach them to one another. On these bottom cushions, I recommend getting the sides on first, getting the back tucked in, and get that elastic band around the edge and underneath, and kind of pull it, slide it towards the front to get everything locked in, and get that front edge tucked underneath the plastic. Once you have everything on and it's fitting fairly nice and everything's mostly tucked in on there, go and retighten this drawstring, get it real tight, and tie it off. Then just take that excess drawstring and tuck it underneath and out of the way. If you have a ton of excess drawstring, you can also cut it down here. Then last step is just to put the seat back into the car. If you have the fixed bottom seat mount, you're just gonna attach that bracket back with those 6 T40 bolts and then put that bracket and the bottom cushion back into the car. If you have the folding bracket like this, you're gonna kind of lift this up, put this seat back in. When you do this, make sure you have it orienting the correct way so when it folds up, it doesn't end up on the opposite way. You're gonna line up the bolt holes with the middle with the bolt hole on that and just get both of these started, get them seated in. One thing to note, make sure on these red tabs right here that the burnt hole through the center of that webbing is lined up, otherwise you're never gonna get that bolt back in. Once you have all 6 bed in, you can go around and tighten them all down all the way. And once the bottom is in all the way, you can place in the top piece, click it in on the bottom, push it back, and snap it up against this bar. One thing to note, because we've added a little bit of material here on the bottom and on the bottom of that cover, there's a little bit of a different space than there was versus the stock seats. So click it in the first time, test it. If it's not clicking in there correctly, you can adjust that bar with 4 bolts in the back to raise it or lower it as you need so it matches up with that latch correctly. And that's it. If you have any questions or issues that pop up, feel free to contact your local authorized dealer, or you can find us at prpseats.com.